guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing my summer TBR / summer recs for you guys. I have kind of like equal parts of each section. So I'm going to start off with the books that I've read and would recommend, and then we'll jump into my personal summer TBR. So first off, of course, I have to give shout out to It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This is still one of my top reads by Tessa Bailey. This is so good. It is about Brendan and Piper. Piper is a socialite. She is part of a very wealthy family. She recently gets broken up with kind of publicly, and then she acts out. She actually gets arrested and she ends up getting bailed out, but her stepfather has had it with her, and he sends Piper to the small town that her biological father is from. Imagine Schitt's Creek. If you've seen Schitt's Creek, it's kind of like that. This is inspired by Schitt's Creek, I believe. This is where she meets Brendan. He is a sea captain, a very grumpy, bearded sea captain, and he doesn't think that Piper belongs in this small town. Definitely rom-com. There were always, I mean, every time I read Tessa Bailey, there are laugh out loud moments. Brendan is still one of my top book boyfriends. I need to reread this and annotate this for my book bestie Janelle. I've actually been waiting for summer to reread this. So this is actually also on my TBR, but it is a reread, so it's not in my TBR section. But definitely read this if you haven't already. It is so good, you guys. So good. And speaking of the Bellinger sister series / kind of like duet, you could also read Hook, Line, and Sinker, but this one I actually gave 4 stars to. I gave 5 stars to this one. So this is the first book, but this one also gives very summer vibes, so I figured I would mention it just in case you guys want to binge the first one and then read the second one. I think they're both good, but Happened One Summer is definitely my favorite. We're just gonna keep going with the Tessa Bailey recommendations because Tessa Bailey really does have summer romances, and they're rom-coms, so they're fun and easy and smutty reads. My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. This is actually a 5-star read for me, and it's a novella. I love when I see my annotated tabs. I haven't looked at this book in a minute, I can tell you that. These are all the spicy scenes on the top. That's how I keep track of the spicy scenes. But this one is about our heroine, who I cannot remember her name, and our hero, who I can't remember their name either. Our heroine actually is on vacation with her brother, just to kind of get her brother out of a funk, and they rent out this Airbnb, I believe, and they find a dead body in said Airbnb, and the hero is actually brought in by the owner of the Airbnb's wife, I believe. They're like mutuals. They know of each other, and the hero comes in to investigate this body, and it comes out to be like this whole town secret and plot, but the romance is absolutely amazing in this. The tension, the chemistry, it's all there. The banter, the conversations. The hero is absolutely obsessed. The hero in every single one of these Tessa Bailey books are completely obsessed with the heroines, and I think that's one of the reasons why I love Tessa Bailey so much. So yeah, definitely give this one a try. Murder mystery-ish. So if that's your thing, definitely give this one a shot. Moving on to Tessa Bailey's most recent series. This is Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. This is about our heroine Hallie and our hero Julian. Julian goes back to his hometown to write his book, his novel. He is a professor. He is one of those heroes that's very grumpy, very much needing control, punctual, and a little bit OCD, doesn't deviate from his plan, you know? And our heroine is the exact opposite. This is definitely opposites attract. She is very much sunshine. She is a gardener. She's always had this crush on our hero, and when he comes back into town, she starts to write him secret admirer letters, and then they also end up kind of falling for each other on the side, like in real life, not through the letters. This is their romance. This is giving very much summer vibes because it does take place in a vineyard, and Hallie is a gardener, so there's a lot of gardening in here. There is some fun steamy scenes, and they're just their banter back and forth, the way that Julian doesn't mind Hallie being so spontaneous, never in order, just fun, quirky heroine. I just love to see it, and he immediately is obsessed with her, and he only has eyes for her. I think this also has good anxiety rep, especially from the hero's point of view. Third Act Breakup wasn't my favorite. This one, that's why this one is more of a 4.5, round down to a 4 from me. So yeah, definitely this is the first book in this Vineyard series. Definitely recommend that one. But if you decide to read one of these two books, definitely pick up Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey. This is the second book in that Vineyard series. This is about Julian's sister Natalie and August. So August goes to this small town to kind of build this vineyard for his deceased best friend. He kind of wants to make his best friend's dreams come true of owning a vineyard. But the thing is that August makes really bad wine. He just can't seem to get it together. And Natalie is definitely very much in the wine making business. She is just super smart about winemaking because she comes from a family of a very renowned winemaking company, household, family, whatever you want to call it. But Natalie is actually in this hometown because she got fired from her previous job, and now that she's kind of licked her wounds, she wants to come back stronger, and she needs money to start her own business with a colleague. To get money, she is thinking about getting her trust fund, but she can't get her trust fund until she is employed and married. Rules set by her father. And so this is where we get a marriage of convenience, but it's also very much hate to love because Natalie has always been vocal about August's shitty wine, and August kind of takes it personally. So they have this kind of hateful banter back and forth, but it's really in the hero's head. You can see how much he wants the heroine, but they just kind of have this animosity towards each other. So they do form a marriage of convenience because the hero does want to get benefits from being Natalie's husband so he can get approved for a loan because he needs money to continue building for this vineyard. And yeah, it goes on from there. It is so good. This one doesn't give as much summer vibes as the first book, but it also still takes place in a vineyard in a small town, and I feel like it's just so much of a rom-com that it is a fun read for the summer. You will start and never want to put this book down. This one is definitely smuttier than the first one. The smut season, this one, absolutely top notch. I love August. He is our grumpy, broody hero. He's a big boy. Natalie is giving very much our prickly heroine. She is definitely going through it, especially with family and because of her past job. There's not enough good things that I can say about this. I was laughing out loud. I loved the romance. I loved being in August's point of view. The communication, the conversations, the playfulness, the arguing without arguing, you know? And it's just two people who come together and have very strong feelings for each other, and they're just explosive together, and I loved it so much. It's so good. I gave this one 5 stars, and I annotated the hell out of it. Like, I read this in one sitting. It was so good. This is definitely one of my top Tessa Bailey books. Ooh, girl, this one is so good. It brings a smile to my face every time I think about it. Next up, I have The Spanish Love Deception. I actually read this one a long time ago when it first came out, but this is about Catalina and Aaron. So Catalina needs a fake date to her her ex and his fiance wedding. But a majority of this book takes place in Italy, I believe. Is it a majority? At least that's what I remember. They do travel to Italy for this wedding. There's a fake dating in here. I remember loving it. There were some parts that I didn't really vibe with. It has smutty scenes as well. I think this one's a fun one, especially if you like out of the country romances. Watch this only be in Italy for like a week. No, but I do remember this is a good one. Read it if you haven't. I feel like everybody has though, but I figured I'd throw it in there just because this is one of my summer recs that I can recommend that I've actually read. But I don't really have much to say about this one. But it was good. I remember it being good. Moving on. Last one that I'm going to recommend to you guys is actually a dark romance. This is Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin. I'm recommending this as a summer romance if you like dark romance, just because this is giving Pirates of the Caribbean. It is dark. It takes place mostly at sea. It is just an emotional, beautiful, heartbreaking story, but it gives you all of those, you know, sitting by the ocean type of vibes. Don't go into this thinking this is a light-hearted romance, because it's not. This is a dark romance reader rec only. I figured I'd throw it in here because all of the other ones are very kind of summer rom-com girlish ones, but if you're looking for something darker that you can read in the summer, I definitely recommend this one. Definitely check trigger warnings. This is about our heroine Bennett, and she is actually running away from her husband Priest, and she ends up capturing him on her ship. She actually ends up getting kidnapped by Lord Ashley Cutler. It kind of goes from there. But listen, if you guys like pirate, then this one's for you. Two other books that I want to recommend that I don't own physically are The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloan. I own this as an ebook. This one is about our pool boy. This is a reverse age gap, and he gets with our heroine who is older. It takes place in the summer. He is obviously the pool boy. Honestly, the cover just gives very much summer vibes. I feel like if you're looking for a smutty read, and nobody does it like Nikki Sloan, she will get you there. Our hero also is trying to be a musician, and our heroine is like a music manager, so they have that plot going on. And I just really loved the way the relationship developed. I didn't think that the age gap was really much of an issue, but it added a bit of forbiddenness. And also the hero is our heroine's best friend's son. So if you like taboo, forbidden, reverse age gaps, and it takes place in the summer, definitely check that one out. Then I have Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. Now this one is just kind of a given. This one I feel like is a very popular, but this is also taboo and forbidden. This is ex-boyfriend's dad. This is a summer romance just because our heroine, I believe, spends a lot of time out in the pool, and it is obviously summer, and the hero is a construction worker, I believe. I haven't read this one in a long time. I do want to reread it though. But I remember when I first read it, I gave it 4 stars, and it was giving very much summer. I mean, look at the cover as well. She's in the pool. It's giving very much that. If you guys want ex-boyfriend's dad, age gap, forbidden, then definitely check that one out as well. Now moving on to some of the books on my TBR. I have The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. This is a bind up of all 3 books. I found it, I'm pretty sure, like at a Goodwill, and I was like, period, all 3 books in one. And I didn't like the previous OG covers, and they still had yet to come out with the really pretty summer covers, which if I love this series, then I might get those, but obviously I'm gonna read this because I own it. But this one is also giving very much summer vibes. I feel like everybody knows about this trilogy. This, I believe, is about a girl named Belly, and she has her 2 friends, Conrad and Jeremiah. This is a love triangle, I believe, and she chooses one of the guys at the end, and it takes place at a beach house. This is YA, so keep that in mind as well. I do want to read this because I want to watch the show, but I want to read this first. I don't know why, I'm just that kind of person. I haven't watched so many shows and movies because I want to read the book first, but like, when the fuck am I gonna read the book? So this is one of the ones that I want to read in the summer for sure, and then watch the TV show. Now listen, Colleen Hoover is not as much. She used to be one of my favorite authors because she was one of the first authors that I read when I was getting back into reading. Like right after I read Agatar and I read the first 3 books in From Blood and Ash, I dived into some contemporary. I read It Ends With Us. I still kind of want to read some of Colleen Hoover's books. I own quite a few of them, and one of the books that I actually physically own that is by her is Heartbone. I've heard good things about this one. This one takes place this summer. I mean, check out the sunset vibes. I honestly don't know anything about this one, but I know that it takes place like on a house that's on the beach, so it's giving very much summer vibes. I honestly haven't heard anybody like go deeply into this one specifically by Colleen Hoover, but this one is Bea comes from a life of poverty and neglect, Samson from a family of wealth. When the 2 find themselves spending the summer as neighbors, they soon realize money is one of the few things they don't have in common. Their bond is too intense to ignore, but with only the summer separating them from the start of their new lives on opposite ends of the country, Bea and Samson decide to stay in the shallow end of a summer fling. What they don't realize is that a rip current is coming and is about to drag both of their hearts out to sea. So yeah, it's giving very much summer vibes. I feel like it's gonna be angsty, emotional turmoil, but it's also Colleen Hoover, so I feel like it's gonna be fast and an easy read. Hopefully this will be one of the ones that I like by Colleen Hoover, but I'm excited for this one. Now, I've heard so many bad things about Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, but I do own it, so I feel like I have to read it. But everybody hates it. I've actually seen on TikTok this whole drama of this girl talking how much she hated this book and that she would never read this author anymore because she had copied Christina Lauren Love in Other Words. So I will have to see about this myself. I actually haven't had any of the people that I follow give this book high rating. So I'm honestly just gonna give it to 20% and see, you know, but I'm gonna at least give it a shot because I own the book, so I might as well see what it's about, see why everybody hates it, see the similarities. We'll see. Now I have, of course, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This one has been on my summer TBR for summers. Like so many summers. I actually took this with me to Mexico last year or 2 years ago, and I took a picture of this book by the pool, and it's such a good picture, and I have yet to post it because I haven't read this book. So if that is the only reason why, then I need to read this book because I need to read this so I can post that picture because it's cute, and I want to read an Emily Henry book because I've never read anything by her. There's also Beach Read, but I heard that one's more sad beach read, and this one's Friends to Lovers Second Chance, more of a summer read. This is a lot of people's favorite as well. So it says 2 best friends, 10 summer trips, 1 last chance to fall in love. I'm excited for this one. I just also need to get into Emily Henry's writing. I also don't think that Emily Henry is a spicy author, but I feel like it's gonna be a good time regardless. These 2 that I have here, I actually have never seen or heard anybody talking about them. I actually found them at half price, and I was like, oh, those are some good summer reads to add to my TBR, like I didn't already have so many on my TBR. But let's not talk about that. First one that I ended up getting was Summer Reading by Jen McKinley. I've never read anything by Jen McKinley. I honestly don't think that she's a spicy author either. The font in here is kind of wild, but basically the premise is when a woman who'd rather do anything than read meets a swoon-worthy bookworm, sparks fly, making for one hot summer flame. So basically the thing that intrigued me about this one was that our hero is the actual bookworm and our heroine actually hates reading. So it's very much roles reversed. You typically see like the bookworm heroine and the boyfriend hero who doesn't read, but it's switched, and I found that very interesting, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this, so I figured I'd give it a shot. I did read the back in a couple of pages and I liked the writing. I also see here that there is dyslexia representation. I feel like it's gonna be such a good time. It sounds like the hero falls first, so I'm excited. He's also trying to like convert her into reading books. The hero is also trying to find his father, and our heroine actually spends a summer at Martha's Vineyard in a tiny cottage. It's just giving all sorts of summer vibes, so definitely want to get to this in the summer. Last one I have is called Stupid Surprises. This one doesn't have any summer vibes, but I feel like this book is gonna hit in the summer. I actually ended up finding this book at half price. Now look at this cover. How cute is this cover? I just love the illustrated art on this one, and I had to have it when I seen it at half price. Like, this is what I'm talking about when I say that I like illustrated art. Like, I hate illustrated art that the characters don't have faces because that's just creepy to me. Why would you do that? But also I thought it was so cool that the cover is actually on the inside as well. So basically our heroine is the daughter of a popular vlogger, and her father actually goes on live video and tells all of his followers, all of his fans, that his daughter is single and he's gonna pick her next boyfriend. So she gets this swarm of men trying to be the next boyfriend, be her next date, just trying to talk to her, be in her life, because her father is this popular, rich marketing genius. And so then we have our hero, who is actually our heroine's best friend since they were kids, and he has always had a crush on her. And now our heroine comes to our hero proposing a marriage of convenience so that the heroine can get all of these men off her back. The hero agrees to be her fake husband to drive the suitors away, and she'll set him up with his own online empire to rival her father's. So that's what they're kind of giving each other. But Jasper doesn't care about the fame or the fortune. He's not here to play stupid games, but he does want the ultimate prize, Gracie's heart, and he'll do anything to get it. How cute does that sound? I will be so mad if the characters are described differently than what they look like on the cover. I just think that this is gonna be so good. I love me a marriage of convenience, friends to lovers. The hero has always been pining for the heroine. I'm just excited. I'm so excited. I have high expectations, and I just can't wait to let you guys know how I feel about this book. So now to talk about some other romances that I want to read that I don't own physically. So I have Close Quarters by Candy Steiner. This is actually a forbidden kind of workplace romance, and it takes place on a yacht. And they travel around. She's actually the photographer. She gets hired by her current boyfriend's boss to stay on the yacht and be the photographer for this trip that the heroine's current boyfriend is documenting for the hero. I bet there's a lot of chemistry, a lot of tension. I do hear that the hero and the heroine don't do anything too much until the heroine actually breaks up with the boyfriend, and he's a shitty boyfriend, so I don't think you form any attachment to him from the beginning. But I've heard nothing but great things, and it's Candy Steiner, and I want to read more of her backlist, and this one gives very much summer vibes. After that, I have Our Scorching Summer by Kels and Denise Stone, I believe. And this one, I've been wanting to read something by Kels and Denise Stone. They're a author writing duo. I think it's a playboy rich hero, and he is best friends, or he knows the heroine, and they go on this trip, and then they turn into friends with benefits, and it's very hot and very steamy and very summer vibes. I mean, it's called Our Scorching Summer, so I'm betting it's gonna be summery and hot. I don't know what else to tell you, but I have been seeing this around for so long since it came out. This is not their first book, but this is the one that I'm gonna jump into. That's definitely on my TBR. And those are all the books on my summer TBR, as well as those are all of my summer recs. I will definitely be doing a summer reading vlog. When will that come out? I have no idea. There are quite a bit of books that I have to choose from that I want to vlog for that summer reading vlog, but I think it'll be fun. I just don't know when it's gonna go up. It's definitely gonna go up before summer ends, so stay tuned for that. Let me know any books down below in the comments that are in your TBR or any summer romance recs. Leave them down below. I would love to know and get even more books to add to my TBR. If you don't want to comment any of that, then go ahead and comment a summery emoji, whether that's the waves, the sun, a beach ball, I believe, or like anything you want that gives you summer vibes. Comment that down below in the comments. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.